Hello. I don't know what to say here. So today we're drawing my most awaited Lyney illustration. I'm going to take you through steps which I followed, and I'm going to tell you a lot of stories about this one. So the first one is we started with the ideation. So my initial ideation part, it consisted of gathering references, resources, and ideas. Although I had a very clear idea of what I wanted. You know, Lyney is a magician, and he also kind of works like a detective from his story quest, and also from the Archon quest. Well, that's my feeling, and it just reminded me of Kaito Kid. Kaito Kid, if you do not know, he's a character from Magic Kaito 1412, and also he is a recurring character in Detective Conan. Now, Kaito Kid often stands on a very high platform and he observes everything that goes on. So that was my initial idea. So I wanted Lyney to be a phantom thief, standing up on a very high rooftop with a very long cape that's flowing and overseeing the city and planning his next heist. Um, so I was gathering references accordingly. I searched for some cityscapes that I could use because my focus in this drawing was to get a good composition. I wanted everything to direct to Lenny's figure on the rooftop. I wanted him to be placed on one of the two or three grid lines so that he covers he's like a main piece of illustration. I did. I planned a simple background. Mostly, I've been using resources that are available in Clipstudio Paint, but and it was quite fun actually. I am still very attached to that idea. Um, I say was because you'll see in a couple of minutes, hopefully, that I completely abandoned that idea. Um, for a change, I decided to do the background first so that I know what environment the character is going to be in, and that allows me to figure things out. And also, as I mentioned, I wanted everything to direct to Lyney. And I also wanted to have a helicopter, but I didn't want to draw one, so I just downloaded another resource from Clip Studio Paint. Now, I think I wanted to have two or three helicopters. One, I was going to have a physical model over there. I mean, not, I mean, what I mean to say is a model of the helicopter. The second one was going to be virtually indicated or depicted that there is a um, helicopter. Now, mm, I had a few concerns after I sketched out the whole thumbnail. I found that while Lini was supposed to be the main character, the angle I chose for him, it was going to be very tough to figure out that that was going to be Lini. Um, and that was tricky because potentially he could be anyone. He could be an original character of mine for all we know, if we didn't see his face. So I thought maybe I should zoom in a little bit. I zoom in a little bit, I zoom in a little bit more, and I zoom in a little bit more till the to the point where you actually cannot see the rooftop anymore. And it didn't make sense why Lini was there in the air around a background of a city and a river. And you would see in a few minutes that I add some random cards. I was thinking that he was like performing a trick and being flashy like how Kaito Kid is. And it all did not go very well. I mean, it was just very random elements. Like there's a city backdrop at night, there is like a rooftop, and there is a very close, a very highly zoomed in close up of Lyney, who was kind of looking like a maniac right now. Um, that's how my impression was. So, but and I was quite torn about which idea to choose for quite a while. I was working on this piece for about 2 weeks now, I think, because I didn't want to give up my original idea of Lyney being, what do you call that? Lyney being on a rooftop with a flowing cave, just like Kaito Kid. I didn't want to give up that idea, but because it was for the sake of my um, illustration, I had to give it up. I couldn't do anything. Uh, I wanted to practice composition. I wanted to highlight Lyney, bring all the focus to him. So, although it didn't make sense why he was there on a rooftop performing card tricks, um, I made him do that. I had to discard the idea that he was a Kaito Kid for now. Maybe a future illustration, but that's what is going to happen. Now that I've decided on a pose for the background, or for Lyney, or for myself, I decided to enhance the pose using 3D models. Yeah, the sad part is that all the footage from me trying to pose that 3D model was corrupted. I mean, I don't know what happened, because I was drawing and my OBS started glitching, and I had like hours of footage, but it was just one frame and I couldn't see anything. I lost everything, because later in the process, I actually fall in love with how the entire thing turns out and how my process went in. This was actually supposed to be much more simpler video. It was supposed to be the speed paint. It was gorgeous. I really loved it. I really enjoyed drawing Lyney, and I really enjoy how I drew Lyney. So I was very sad that I lost quite a bit of footage. But to summarize, and I'm still obsessed about it, but to summarize, basically I used a 3D model to get the anatomy right. I turned on the manga proportions because I really wanted to have those exaggerated dynamic pose for Lyney, because I was putting him in a very awkward situation, so might as well something good comes out of it. So I draw a pose, but my gripe with using 3D models is that it becomes very hard to keep the drawing stylized for me. So that's why I've worked a little bit. So first I traced the 3D model to see the pose correctly. Then I adjusted it according to what felt right. Adjusted the sketch according to what felt right. It might not be that great right now. Hopefully, I'll improve my anatomy in the future. But as I mentioned, the idea for this illustration was to improve composition, to create a compelling image which draws your eye to the subject. That's why I had to actually let go of my idea that Lyney is a phantom thief, and I had to settle for a zoomed in illustration of Lyney. So I made compromises. Hope you can make your compromises too with the anatomy, with my anatomy skills. Okay, now that that's over, let's go back, take a step back. Now I add in Lyney's outfit. I let go of my idea of having a long black cape for him. It hurts. Yeah, I can never forgive myself for this. I actually did think that maybe I should just draw both because I'm an artist. But then I just had so limited time. I've been working on Lyney's illustration for 2 weeks, and I really wanted to draw Newellite because he's coming in. I probably think he's here. He's here already, and I haven't gotten to even practice drawing him. Uh, my sister's watching it, so it's kind of a spoiler for her, but I wanted to draw him for her as a way to cheer her on because she loves um, Hiroshi Kamiya. And by extension, she likes Newellite. So I wanted to keep it a surprise for her, but yeah, I can't work on Lyney's illustration forever. So that's why we have to go and complete the drawing and move on to the next part of the drawing. So now, something which I really found helpful for me in this illustration was to actually color in the sketch. I've seen a few artists do that before. I've personally never tried it myself, maybe once or twice, but not too much because I'm always in a hurry to get my drawings out. Um, I always had so little time. I mean, that just means that I had other things which were more pressing in real life that I need to focus on. So I've never really sat down to finish a drawing. And this is also the point when I think I switched to using my display tablet instead of my what's the other one? The one with non-display tablet. So I started using my display tablet for this. There was a funny story there where I was using the wrong pen, so I thought my display tablet was not working, and I'm really sorry for it. I hope it doesn't give up on me. But anyway, so coloring the sketch. I mean, it wasn't anything near the level of what I would call a color thumbnail because I did not do any such testings. So it's not like I've created quick illustrations to figure out where the light comes in and light and shadows would be. So it's basically me just flat coloring the sketch, and I don't even know if I can say it helped because in the end I kind of just used my original sketch as a guideline for me. I just hide the color layer behind 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 plain a layer which is just a plain color layer of plain color. I'm sure you'll see what I mean, but I'm trying to see if I can be more articulate about it. So it's basically a layer with a single color so that I could see the sketch better, and that way I could get the lines right. But I do like this sketch version of it. In fact, I actually consider leaving it be, just coloring over the shadows and call it a final result. But I did not give up. I went on. I did the line art this time because I wanted it to look like a proper illustration, hopefully professional. So I went in, I created vector layers, and then I decided that, okay, Lyney, you're getting a line art, and I did it. I still did not use line weights, which I should have, but I don't like line weights that much, I guess. Also, the thing which I used was I used different tools in the Clipstudio Paint's vector layer settings stuff, vector layer menu, vector layer toolbar, whatever it is. I'll just point out this is not a Clipstudio Paint's advertisement. I am not paid for this. I've just discovered some new features in the Clipstudio Paint I have been using for years. I did not know these existed, to be honest. I mean, I always knew you could like change the thickness of the vector lines, but I didn't know the other tools which were like which tools like simplifying vector lines and stuff existed, and that is quite a game changer. And I should also mention here, I'm using Clip Studio Paint version 1, so it might be quite outdated, but I bought the lifetime license for it long back, maybe not long back, but 3 years ago. So I didn't upgrade to it because I wasn't drawing much. I am considering upgrading to the version 2, but I'm not sure of how the different options compare. Maybe I'll think about it. But anyway, so I did the line art. I used Clip Studio Paint's vector layers and all its powers that came with it, all the powers that came with it, except for like adding line weights. And then I lost all the footage, so you couldn't probably see it. And then I did the flats. I didn't want to do the shading, but for completion's sake, I had started adding shadings. I picked up a purplish color because it's evening, so I thought it's gonna be purple. Then I just overlay it with some oranges so that the colors, it feels like Lyney is in the environment and it doesn't stand out too much. Then I go back and actually add in the helicopter because let's keep something out of the idea. I mean, it was quite brilliant of me to think that there should be a helicopter over there, although I wasn't the one who's drawing it. It's just a 3D model I downloaded. But I think that was pretty cool. So I wanted to keep that idea. And then, since the helicopter was there, I thought I should have the light from the helicopter fall on Lyney, and that could serve as my light source. So that adds a direction to the shadows which I'm placing. And thinking of Lyney to be just solid blocks of cylinders and spheres and rectangles, I decided, sorry, blocks. I decided to just use simple shadows. So this is something I just did it out of my mind, from my mind, from my imagination. Uh, so a few things could be off, but I'm not too bothered with it because I really like the final result. After this, I lost the footage again, as you can see, for a lot of things. But then, because now I was adding the helicopter, I couldn't find a good uh, way to add a lens flare because that option is not available in Clip Studio Paint. So instead, what I did was I went back to Clip Studio Paint's store, assets, and then I searched for some lens flare images. I found many and I tried them out, but nothing fit. Finally, I decided to just use one of the image, use an airbrush and delete the borders of it, so and try to merge it together with the background in some way. And that way I created a lens flare which was really beautiful, even if I'm the one saying that. It's quite fun. And then after adding the lens flare, the helicopter made a comeback, so did the camera flashes. Now Lyney was again kind of kid. I don't know if that makes sense, but Lyney was there, and I added tried to add some camera flashes, so that it appears that there is a crowd of people beneath the building or the rooftop who's like watching Lyney. So in that way, I guess I went back to my original idea. As I said, I couldn't give up on it. I really couldn't. Um, So because it was there since 6 weeks. It's been 6 weeks since that idea has been in my head, so I couldn't give up on it. So I had some lens flares, I added some additional glow, then I did some blurring, and I think now you can see the final result. I'm sorry I lost a lot of footage, so I cannot show you how things went, but I added some cards in the end. I forgot to tell you about that because that I kept that idea, and in the end, it turned out to be nice. I added a signature, and the more I stare at it, I really like it. I don't know if I've achieved all the aspects of composition I was aiming to achieve, but I think that it's such a nice piece. I really like that. I'm quite proud of it. So yeah, so that's all for today. Thank you for sticking around. You've been really sweet. A lot of people have left. A lot of you have left such kind comments, especially when like I was kind of thinking whether to continue posting or not, because yeah, the life has been a bit busy and very stressful. So sometimes I feel a bit overwhelmed with things and burnt out. So it comes to a point where I feel, should I keep drawing? Because I mean, my life is as busy as it can be. So do I want to add more stuff to it? But um, it does energize me. I saw that after drawing, I feel very energized. It actually takes away all the stress and all the tiredness from the day. And also, I've heard so many lovely things about my art, so it also makes me keep going. So thank you so much for all your comments. I really appreciate it, and thank you for watching with me so far. Um, and I'll see you in the next video. I might edit this video into a small reel, so you might see a mini version of it, hopefully. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, and let me know if you have any Genshin character you want me to draw. Hopefully I can get to them before it's too late. I mean, the Lyney piece took me 2 to 3 weeks, so keep that in mind when you're requesting. But I'd be happy to draw Genshin characters. Maybe not completely in their own design though. There are too many details. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.